When I was 10 years old, my uncle had an A-frame cabin in Maine that he let my parents borrow that year for Christmas. I was too old to believe in Santa Claus, but I stayed up anyway. I wish I hadn't. His cabin was a large, triangular design, where one end was all windows. It's a really beautiful place set deep in the woods. My parents took my sister and I there to celebrate Christmas away from the suburbs of New Jersey. We had a great time hunting for the perfect tree, cutting it down, and decorating it in front of the wall of windows that faced the woods. We begged my parents to let us sleep on the sofas in the main room where the tree was on display, and they reluctantly agreed. For a couple nights, I fell asleep under the glow of the tree, and eventually the lights would shut off by the timer my dad programmed. It was very cozy, and I loved it. Then the big night came, Christmas Eve. We turned in for the evening, and we took our positions on the sofas. Like the previous nights, I laid there looking at the tree by the window. I was excited to open my presents the following morning, and so I couldn't sleep. I got up to use the bathroom, and on my way back the timer clicked off. I shudder when I think about what I saw. I had just come down the steps into the main room, which was big and open, except for the tree, and to sofas on either side of it. Behind the tree was the wall of windows. Maybe 20 or 30 yards past that was a tree line. My sister was sleeping on the sofa to the left. When the lights flicked off, it took a moment, but my eyes adjusted to the darkness. As I shuffled back to the sofa, I couldn't help but look at a funny spot of condensation on the glass of the window, almost directly behind the tree. I froze mid-stride when I realized what I was looking at. The spot of condensation grew bigger. My eyes adjusted more, and I could identify a distinct silhouette behind the misty spot on the window. It was a man. He was dressed head to toe in furs. I could tell by the dim light coming from the nightlight my sister insisted on that he was staring directly at me. I screamed for my parents as loud as I could. A light came on upstairs and the man retreated into the darkness. I tried to tell my dad what I saw, but I couldn't get the words out. It was enough for him to go outside and check. When he returned, he said I must have been dreaming and suggested that my sister and I sleep with Mom upstairs while he stayed downstairs, just in case. We left pretty early in the morning. I sort of forgot the incident until years later when my uncle brought up that he was selling the cabin. He made a comment to my dad about how he won't have to worry about uninvited guests any longer. I've asked my parents about it, but my dad will only say that when he went outside to check, all he could find were a set of footprints leading from the trees to the window and around the house to the woods on the other side. He said the bizarre part of the whole thing was that they looked like the guy wasn't wearing any boots. He had hiked to the cabin from wherever completely barefooted.